want to show you this. Behind me, not in the panto sense, behind you, behind me is my life for the last 8 years. And actually, if I move this down, you can see that behind me, and what I'll do is I'll make me smaller as well, because then you can see, there you go. So behind me is my life for the last 8 years, and what you can see on the screen at the moment is all the music that I wrote in 2013. If we then scroll down, you can see all the music that I wrote in 2014, then 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then at the bottom here we're in the current year, and you can see that the last one that I put down is today's piece, which I call Party Time. Now there's a real danger of me doing this, because I can sit there for hours listening to all of these pieces, because it brings back so many memories, and the memories are not just the sound of the music, it's also the names of the music, because I associate the names with events, you know, and it actually gives away the clues to what I was thinking about, all sorts of things. But this is if I was going to write a musical autobiography, this would be it for the last 8 years. And if we go back, and so this is where it all started, back on the 1st of January 2013, and it was one of those things where I had to do something creative, and I believe in the creative spark. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll post something onto SoundCloud to the whole world potentially, and then just see how it develops over time. It was quite risky, because the first thing you're going to put out, and I understood the power of the internet, and actually what we're going through now, with this transition, really I see it as a huge economic transition from one system to another. We don't quite know what the system is yet, but I would suggest that we're moving into the information age, and composition, this was my response to 8 years ago to what I saw as information, intellectual property. So this is creativity in its rawest sense, and it's something that I felt that I had to do. So there you go, first day of the 1st of January 2013. What did I do? And it certainly wasn't that. What I need to do is there you go, this is what it was. And it just did that for a whole minute. That was where it all started. And then the next day, this was right at the beginning, where I was thinking, what I'll do is I'll build it incrementally, because it's all about the evolution of the idea. And I was starting at 5 o'clock in the morning. I set myself the goal at the beginning of 2013, because it was a significant year for me, and I set myself the goal of posting the music before 6 o'clock. So I was getting up at 5, I was going to do my exercise, and was it the other way around? Anyway, I had to do my exercise, and I had to do a piece of music, I had to post it online, and then it had to be done by 7 o'clock. And so it was quite hectic, and I didn't have that much time, and that's what I did on the first day. So the second day I did this. And that was really the very first tune that I came up with, right at the beginning. And yeah, great. Thank you. That was the very first tune that I came up with right at the beginning. And so we went through the whole of that month, and by the end of the month, we'd gone through various incarnations, and we ended up with this. So right at the beginning, I was using the electronic sounds a lot more. One at the day before, actually, there was me playing the clarinet. So you can see, actually, one of the things I found in the early days, and that must have been at a weekend, because what I found with having to do it really early in the morning, it was really difficult to tune up, to warm up and be in tune, and actually you couldn't put headphones in and you couldn't switch down the volume when you're playing a live instrument. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't necessarily done as much of me playing, which is a shame, and it's something I need to do more, really. So there we go, and you can see, and one of these days I'll work out how to zoom in, but a lot of these first pieces didn't have names, and what I had, in fact, all of the first ones didn't have names, but on the 25th it was Burns night, and sort of ex-military, we used to have Burns night dinners, and so I had a sort of like a jig, Scottish jig. And then a couple of days later, it was Holocaust Memorial Day. And that was all about evoking the voices and the whisperings and the voices, but just the atmosphere of unease. But yeah, so that was the very first month at the beginning of this journey. Now, one of the real dangers of doing this is when I see this, I can just sit there for hours and listen to them, because it brings back so many memories. Let's have a look. You see my next big tune, and you see Valentine's Day. So there's tunes that I've done for Valentine's Day. But the really interesting thing about the second month was you get to the end of the month and you've had a whole month of new ideas. You've created loads of new music, and you come to the beginning of a new month and it's completely blank, and you think, oh, what am I going to do? So on the next day, I decided to use another live instrument, but it was a crotale, which is one of these dings. And I've done it again because that needs to be silenced, and then this one. So this was the beginning of the next month. You can hear all the crackle because it was a recording. And that was it. But it was for a whole minute, and it just sort of, it lasted for the whole minute. So there was loads of crackle. And so this was the beginning of the journey, and there was so much to learn, but it was really good fun. And actually, I think this was when I first played the Vuvuzela online. Was it now? Which day would it be? There you go. So that's the Vuvuzela and the duduk. So actually I was playing the duduk as well. It's an instrument I love the sound of. But so this was very experimental. It was actually, SoundCloud had been around for a few years, or perhaps hadn't been around for that long. But it was all about putting ideas up there and getting feedback from people all over the world. And for me, that's one of the huge opportunities in the information age, because it's collaborating globally and collaborating ideas and playing with people around the world. Anyway, actually, I won't, you could see I could go on for about 4 days doing this, but I'm not going to. Let's just pick out a couple of let's just pick out a couple, because actually there's one here that I have played before, but you see, it has been a lot of fun. And a lot of people will know me as a clarinetist. So studied at the Royal College of Music, clarinet, and Mozart's Clarinet Concerto is the staple of every clarinetist should learn the Mozart's Clarinet Concerto. It's a fantastic piece. The slow movement is gorgeous, technically difficult, very, very difficult to play well, because it demands high precision of technique and everything. But anyway, I thought, what would, and I think I've done this before, but it brings a smile to my face just listening to it. What would Mozart's Clarinet Concerto have sounded like if the only instrument available apart from the string orchestra was the vuvuzela? This was probably the year after the World Cup, or a couple of years after the World Cup, and I have got a vuvuzela, and I thought, yeah, let's have a look and see what it would sound like. So this is what Mozart's Clarinet Concerto would have sounded like if the vuvuzela had played the solo instrument. Now, I have no idea what my clarinet teacher, who was one of the top international soloists, would have thought of that. I think he may well have smiled, because he had a fantastic sense of humour. In fact, I've been really lucky. All my clarinet teachers have had senses of humour, and I think they'd all smile at that. They might actually think it sounds better than me playing the piece anyway. But that always brings a smile to my face. And let's pick one more, because this will make my son cringe. My children have been a huge source of inspiration for me, and they've all got, I don't know how, but they've all seemed to have been cursed with a similar sense of humour. And just imagine you're 18, it's your 18th birthday, and guess how you're woken up? Your dad has written you a piece of music and says, listen to this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, the piss. Happy birthday to you. Shall I compare you to a PlayStation 4? You are indeed great at keeping the score. Your X button is fighting far away, and you're turning 18 this day. Your eyes may glaze over like a waiting screen, but you got your finger on the right trigger to turn into a fine winning figure. Yo kid, happy birthday from Dad. Yo kid, happy birthday from Dad. Shall I compare you to a PlayStation 4? You are indeed great at keeping the score. Your X button is fighting far away, and you're turning 18 this day. Your eyes may glaze over like a waiting screen, but you got your finger on the right trigger to turn into a fine winning figure. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, the piss. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. I've scarred him for life. Poor old Piers. Now, what's another one? Alice got involved in one of these, and it was Christmas. And I think, which year was it, where she recited some words, and it sounds beautiful. I think she was at university then. Let's have a listen to some Christmas Days. It's not that one. It's further back than I thought. Do you know? This one, listen to this. I just think she's got a fantastic voice for this.
We are the daughters of joy, and we are the sons of peace. Come join with us and be strong. Our songs will never cease. Hope is a child of sweetness. Its way travels with the dove. Compassion's love is boundless, so trust eternal love. We are the daughters of joy, and we are the sons of peace. Come join with us and be strong. Our songs will never cease. Hope is a child of sweetness. It travels with the dove. Compassion's love is boundless, so trust eternal love.
I just think Alice has got a fantastic voice for that. I don't know what you think. It's so clear. Now, what else? Oh, actually, I suppose let's use all three of them, because last year, and yeah, I mustn't go on for too long. But last year, my other daughter got married. Jessica got married, and of course, what's one of the questions that you can be asked as a dad? Dad, can you write the music for my wedding march? And you can't turn that down, really. And so I did. I did. And this was, and we can't listen to the whole thing because it turned into an epic performance. So this was Jessica's wedding procession, and I think it'd be nice if she listens to this to actually hear a little bit of it as well. It'd bring back memories. Go. That brings back memories of walking her down the aisle. What a fantastic day. Okay, now we're sort of coming to the end. So that was last year, and you can see that actually there's so much material here. And as I say, this is my creative life for the last 8 years, and there's so many stories, and we haven't even talked about the things that have been completely taking over the news for the last 5 years anyway, but they're all in here somewhere. They've all had an influence in what I've been doing. Let's come right up to date. And what have I done today? This week we've really concentrated, or we haven't really concentrated, but we've just ended up, as things sort of tend to be, we've ended up with sort of Dixieland, and it's been more of a jazzy feel. completely different from a couple of days earlier. And I thought today marked the end of a 5-day period, and I thought we'd go back to that sort of melody, but I'd try and add as many instruments as possible. So let's just quickly build that up. Let's just do the last 5 days. So we'll do the first 4 bars of each one of these, and then we'll end up playing the whole of today's one, so you can hear what I've done. But basically, the last four days we've had various melodies in the new key, and they've all been individual. And today, what I've done is I've put them all together like a pop mess, and well, we've seen what the result is. Let me know what you think. Okay. So what do you think? There we go. So you've heard the very first piece in this adventure, and now you've heard the latest, because the adventure continues. That's one of the beauties about creativity, is it never stops. It never stops. And there's that fear where you can feel that, what can I come up with next? Might I dry up? But actually, you just got to carry on working through it, and sometimes you'll create something that's not quite right, but sometimes there might be that little nugget in there that turns out to be one of your faves. Right, there we go. I think that well, there's so much there. I think really there's so much material here. I could carry on talking for ages. And over the next few, years, I probably will. But let me know what you think. What would you like to hear? Would you like to hear these historical ones? Would you like to hear more of the stories behind them? One of the things that I'm thinking, it'd be quite good to sort of have an interaction where people can say a date, and then I'll find the date and we'll go and pick it out and see what it sounds like, and see if I can remember what was going on at the time, because that would be quite good fun. And sometimes you watch these football matches and you see the pundits talking about what happened 5 games ago, or going back over 20 matches, the scores have always been this, and as far as I can see, there's very, very little resemblance between any of them, and it's just pure speculation. But with something like this, it would be interesting to compare different or the similar stages of the year. So actually you could work out that that I write a Duff tune on the 5th of April every year, and then you think, why? Why would that happen? So there's all sorts of analysis that could go on. Actually, this is a treasure trove of analysis, psychological music, all sorts. But yeah, that'll have to happen at another time. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know, if there's any things that you'd like me to talk about, anything in here that you think, oh, actually, I'd love to have heard. What was that word? There was a word that Donald Trump used. Was it mugwump? Yeah, mugwump. So sometimes, I'll have listened to something, and I'll have named a piece after a word that was used in a tweet. There's all sorts of little stories like that. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully you'll see me soon, and let's see if we can continue this musical adventure into the future. Thanks. Cheers.